baby into the mix is just too much.
Are you ready for something fun and exciting?
You're expecting me to shed a tear over that bastard's death. That is not going to happen. Do not get involved with Jack Brennan.
I am so here for Carly and Brennan. Their chemistry is undeniable, and let's be real, his accent is a major plus. It's about time we see Carly move on and not go back to Sonny. That said, I'm crossing my fingers that we're not headed for another baby drama. We've had enough of that already. Kudos to the cast for giving their all with the material they're given, though. By the way, I'm officially over Molly and TJ. Can we move on from them? Sasha's storyline has never been the most thrilling, and honestly, Cody's not adding much excitement either. They definitely need a rework. Here's an idea. How about a storyline where Molly and TJ run into their surrogate and discover she has a black newborn baby? They realize the baby is theirs, and of course, Christina gets jealous. It would be messy, but honestly, it sounds more interesting than some of the unbelievable stories we're currently getting. Also, Jason yelling at Carly about Brennan is hilarious, especially when he doesn't seem to care if she risks her future by lying about Sonny's alibi. The contrast is just too much. I still find it odd that Carly and Jason didn't end up together after he came back from the dead. They were in love and even married. It feels like soap opera relationships are never taken seriously. And speaking of Jason, I'm hoping he's just playing nice with Anna to get the scoop on the investigation. GH, please don't let them get romantically involved. Jason deserves better. Finally, Jason telling Carly not to get involved with Brennan is just setting the stage for the usual drama. Carly never listens, ends up in trouble, and then cries to Jason about how she should have listened to him. It's a repetitive cycle with them, and we all know how it plays out. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. Molly crossed a major line yesterday. It feels like she's reached the point of no return with her actions. Now, about the situation with Carly and Jack. If they do end up together, it's going to be wild. I'm curious about Josslyn's reaction, especially since Jack is with the WSB and has probably committed more crimes than Sonny ever dreamed of. Although I love Sonny and Carly together, Carly and Jack definitely have some sizzling chemistry. Jason's efforts to keep Carly away from Jack Brennan might not work. We all know Carly has a thing for bad boys, and she's probably not going to change anytime soon. Let's talk about Jason. He's really just trying to protect Carly, even if it means yelling at her. He's not involved with anyone, especially not Anna. Anna is clearly in love with Valentin, and Jason is focused on getting to know his boys better. Josslyn has been incredibly critical and judgmental lately. She needs a reality check and a big dose of humility. Now she's grilling Michael about Agent Kate's death. I wouldn't be surprised if she's asking him if Sonny is involved or if he's covering for him, just like Carly. It's really none of her business. I used to like Jason before the car accident years ago, but it's disappointing to see how GH has turned his character into Carly's personal puppet. Carly has been a mess from the start, sleeping with her mother's husband Tony Jones, having an affair with AJ, and then with his brother Jason and Jason's best friend Sonny. She's always been fixated on Sonny. Honestly, Carly needs to go ASAP. Does Anna take medication? It seems like Valentin might have messed with them, which could explain her forgetfulness and confusion. It's puzzling that Anna has forgotten her long-standing friendship with Sonny. Since she knows Valentin tampered with Sonny's meds, shouldn't that make her anger towards Sonny irrelevant? Am I missing something here? On a brighter note, I'm loving the chemistry between Carly and Brennan. I hope they embark on a mission to find Lucky together. Their dynamic is really something special. Now, let's talk about Molly and Christina. How is anyone blaming Molly in this situation? Christina begged Molly to let her be the surrogate. And then, months into the pregnancy, Christina decides to keep the baby with TJ, despite it being Molly and TJ's planned child. Christina even shows up at Ova's 8 months pregnant and picks a fight with a known murderer. To top it off, she goes to the baby's gravesite and calls the baby by a name that's not even known. Christina never allowed Molly and TJ to acknowledge themselves as the baby's real parents. If that wasn't enough, Christina steals her father's gun, loses it, and now Molly's mom is sitting in jail for actions that were Christina's fault. Molly has had it. She's done coddling her reckless sister and wants Christina to finally take responsibility for her actions. It's clear that Alexis never taught Christina about the consequences of her behavior. Lastly, I'm not interested in yet another predictable storyline where Jason plays the hero. I hope he's not the one who rescues Lucky. I'd much rather see Brennan team up with Laura and Kevin to make it happen. Laura has always had a badass side, and it's time for a change in the hero narrative. Enough with the Jason hero worship. In this situation, there are no clear villains or heroes, and no one is completely innocent. Each person involved is in pain, and there's plenty of blame to go around. Molly and TJ wanted a baby, and when their initial surrogate didn't work out, they turned to Christina. They chose Christina despite having doubts and warnings from others. The desperation for a child outweighed their concerns, which led them to this decision. Given that Molly and TJ are a family of lawyers who know the law inside and out, it's surprising that they didn't put any agreements in writing from the start. From an outside perspective, all three, Molly, TJ, and Christina, bear responsibility for what happened to baby Irene. While Ava Jerome's actions contributed significantly by creating a dangerous situation, Molly, TJ, and Christina also share the blame. Molly and TJ chose Christina, knowing her personality and potential issues. Christina may have had good intentions initially, but she struggled with the decision to give up the baby as time went on. All the signs indicating potential problems were ignored, leading to the tragic outcome. In the end, all three are just as responsible for what happened as Ava Jerome. Now on to Nina. I wasn't a fan of her after the Nixon Falls storyline, but I've come around and find myself adoring her again, just like when she first appeared. And don't get me wrong, I still love Carly too. As for Molly, she's been going way overboard lately. Her emotional reactions are becoming increasingly irritating, especially after Christina visited the baby's gravesite. Molly even accused Christina of murder, which is a bit extreme. Someone pointed out that Molly's reminder to Christina that without TJ, there wouldn't be a baby was justified, but it's important to remember that it takes two people to make a baby. Christina might be seen as the villain by some, but we shouldn't overlook the fact that TJ was equally involved. Molly was right to point out that Christina didn't consider TJ's role in the situation. It almost seemed like Christina viewed the baby as more of a Davis family child, rather than acknowledging TJ's contribution. I have to say, I kind of wish they hadn't revealed the details about Sam being killed off. I would have preferred a bit of surprise, but that's just my take. Molly is definitely in the wrong here. Her visit to Dex at the police station was more about jealousy and personal issues than the loss of the baby. I get that this is a soap opera, but it feels like the drama has shifted from the original issue. There's a straightforward way to prove that neither Alexis nor Christina killed John Cates. Check the cell phone records to see where their phones were pinging. Since Alexis was desperately trying to reach Christina, there should be plenty of evidence about her location. But of course, that would be too simple and logical, so they probably won't go that route. I might be in the minority, but Anna's actions are starting to wear thin on me. Her sanctimonious attitude is getting tiresome. As for Alexis, why should she go to jail and lose her law license again, just because Christina won't listen to Jason's advice? Christina is way too old to keep acting out without facing consequences. Molly is getting a lot of hate just for being fed up with Christina, which seems unfair. When is someone going to hold Christina accountable for her repeated messes and lack of responsibility? Christina has always been like this, constantly jumping from one crisis to another, and never taking responsibility for her actions. It's frustrating to see her continually being bailed out without facing any real consequences. On a different note, I want to give a shout out to Maura West. She's an incredible actress with such poise and class. Personally, I prefer her with shorter hair. The longer style makes her face look too thin, in my opinion. No disrespect intended, but her shorter hair was definitely part of her classic look. Finally, I thought the Gannon name was just a coincidence, but it's interesting that the new character mentioned being from Chicago. For those of us who were huge One Life to Live fans, we know that Nora, Hank, and Archie Gannon all came from Chicago before moving to Landview. It's something worth noting and keeping an eye on. I get that Molly is grieving and angry, but her reactions are starting to seem excessive. Yes, Christina has a complicated past, but so does Molly's dad. Still, it's hard to believe Christina would ever be involved in something like this. Molly's anger seems misplaced, and honestly, I wish the show would either develop Molly and TJ's characters better or write them out. I like the actors, and I wouldn't mind seeing them return in different roles, but the current portrayal of Molly and TJ is frustrating, especially since Molly doesn't know the full story. Molly is clearly struggling with self-blame, and TJ is upset because they were well aware of Christina's history. They accepted Christina's offer to be the surrogate because Molly was desperate to have a baby immediately. When things went wrong, it's natural to want to place blame elsewhere rather than looking at their own decisions. Molly wanted a baby now, and TJ wanted to make her happy, so he didn't voice his concerns. Christina had moved on because they initially chose another surrogate. Molly's decision to approach Christina again was a risk they all knew could backfire. Despite being advised against it, they chose to proceed. In the end, all of them ignored the warnings and are now dealing with the consequences of their choices. Can we talk about how tired everyone is of the Jagger murder and Molly/Christina drama? It feels like this plot line has dragged on for too long. I'm ready for a break and some relief from all the intense focus on these issues. Let's get some more screen time for the Scorpio/Jones family. Maxie, Spinelli, Felicia, and Mac are such a breath of fresh air and deserve more attention. Jason's storyline is also becoming a bit too repetitive. He really doesn't need another person trying to control his life. Anna's involvement feels forced, and the dynamic between her and Jason just isn't working. I'd love to see Jason paired with someone new, like Jordan or Elizabeth. Let's move away from the Carly or Anna drama. And Sam? We've seen that story play out too many times already. What are your thoughts on these storylines? Are you ready for a change too? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.